Hey everyone, it's Brittany. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my first actual makeup tutorial for Halloween this year. I already did a little series on my channel last week showing you guys some DIY costumes and decorations around the house, so if you want to check it out, I will have them listed in the description box below this video, or you can just check out my channel and look at my Halloween videos. But today's video is obviously on this whole look going on. It is an 80s makeup and hair tutorial. I actually have an event to go to this weekend with Michaela because it is her birthday, and it's basically an 80s theme, and it kind of got me inspired, and I thought I would do a really fun 80s look for Halloween. If you guys have any themed parties to go to, it would be so perfect for any 80s parties. And the best part about it is you can literally just have fun with it and use a bunch of bright colors, and it's going to look like an 80s makeup look. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you are new here, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to prime my skin first with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Radiance. This is going to give a really pretty glow to the skin and also help with makeup application. And this is a special edition product from Smashbox. They will be donating $5 from each of the purchases of the Photo Finish Primers to Breast Cancer Research Foundation. So it's an extra bonus if you guys want to check it out. Not sponsored, just wanted to share. And I'm also going to conceal using my Hard Candy Glamoflauge concealer, which I'm actually not a big fan of. I keep trying it out to see if I end up liking it, and I still don't really, but I might play around with it some more. But I'm basically just using it to highlight my face and brighten up underneath my eyes. And for the rest of my face, I'm using my Marcelle Flawless Skin Fusion concealer, and I don't like this at all for under the eyes, but I did end up really liking it for just like concealing redness or blemishes, because it actually ends up kind of oxidizing to my exact skin color, so it works out like that. And then for foundation, I'm using my IT Cosmetics CC cream. I love this stuff so much. This is in the shade Fair. It is just slightly too light for me at the moment because I'm still kind of like fading out of my tan, but once all the makeup was on, it was perfectly fine anyways. And I am going to set that in place using my Too Faced Primed and Poreless powder. I really love this powder, and in the 80s matte skin was really popular, but I don't really like totally matte skin, which is why I use the Radiance primer from Smashbox underneath it. And for my eyebrows, I decided to use a brow pencil from NYX so that I could get some really hair-like strokes that were a little bit bigger and like bushy eyebrows, because that was what was in the 80s. So I went a little bit overboard with the eyebrows, and I'm going to set them in place using my Essence Lash and Brow Gel, but I'm going to make sure to brush them upwards and out so that you can really see the ends of the hair to make them look a little bit more realistic and 80s like. And moving on to eyeshadow, I'm using the Urban Decay Full Spectrum eyeshadow palette for this entire look, and I'm first taking this bottom blue shade. Any bright blue will work because that was very popular in the 80s, and to get it a little bit more intense, I wet the brush with the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. This is also one of the Breast Cancer Research Foundation like campaign products, so you can definitely check that out too. I'm not sponsored or anything, I just think it's a really great cause. But next I'm going to be taking a dark pink eyeshadow from the palette, and this is going right into my crease. It's acting as a transition color, but also sort of blending out the blue, and it kind of turns into a purple so that you get like a gradient, and you just want to make sure that this looks very soft and adds a little bit more definition into your crease. I also began to kind of make it into a smoked out cat eye shape, but I will be adding more a little bit later. So next I'm going in with a very bright orange shade, and this is going directly over the pink that we used. I feel like these shades were very popular to use in the 80s, and also they were not afraid to put color all the way up to the brow bone in the 80s, so this is exactly what I'm doing here. The orange is literally going all the way up to the bottom of my eyebrows, and to define my bottom lash line, I'm using the same blue, and then I will also be taking a little bit of the pink, and I'm going to drag that directly underneath the blue and kind of connect it to the outer corner of my eyes. Obviously, this isn't an everyday look from the 80s. I feel like if you're going to a party, you might as well do it really like glam and funky. And in the 80s, they definitely loved black or dark blue eyeliner, and it literally rimmed the entire eye. So I'm basically just smoking it onto my top lash line, and then I'm dragging this basically almost all the way into my inner corner, because that was something that was also very popular in the 80s, and it's something that I really hate doing, so I was not a fan of doing this, but of course if I wanted it to look legit, I had to do it. So to really bring in that glam rock pop of color, I decided to add that dark pink into the inner part of my brow bone area and then also on the very end of my brow bone. And I kept the orange very visible right underneath the highest point of my brow bone, and I basically extended this color out past the end of my eyebrow, so it kind of gave like a diagonal effect, and it really emphasizes the shape of the eyeshadow looks that people liked to do in the 80s. And I'm using a mixture of these two mascaras. These are my favorite ones to use at the moment. I love the Jordana Best Lash Extreme and the new Urban Decay Troublemaker mascara. I'm basically just doing a few coats of both of them on my top lashes, and then I will be doing one coat along the entire part of my bottom lashes. And to clean up the eyeshadow look and make it very sharp, I decided to take a makeup remover and just run it along the very outer edge of my eyeshadow, and then I just concealed right underneath it to kind of cover up any area that I might have taken off some concealer or foundation. This was also something that I saw in a lot of 80s like reference pictures, that it was just a really sharp line and kind of like a dramatic look. And then for blush, basically pick the brightest popping blush that you have in your collection and put it all over your cheekbones and right up into your temple area. Basically just put it like everywhere, but definitely leave like the inner part, like the very apples of your cheek, a little bit bare, because that again was just kind of the look. And then for my lips, I feel like in almost every single 80s picture that I looked at, they had like a very bright fuchsia pink lipstick on, so I decided to just line my lips with a NYX lip liner that I had that I felt like was a really good 80s color. And then I had a really perfect lipstick from Urban Decay. This is like a bright fuchsia with some glittery, sparkly shimmers in it, and it just totally screamed 80s to me, so I decided to top off the lip liner with that, and that's the finished makeup look. So let's go ahead and move on to hair. I started out by spraying some dry shampoo from Paul Mitchell into the roots of my hair to give it a little bit of texture, and I make the weirdest faces when I spray dry shampoo and hairspray, so don't mind that. I'm going to be using a curling wand from Numi. This is the smallest wand I think that they have. Basically just use any very tiny barrel in a curling wand or a curling iron, and you're going to just wrap your hair all the way around it. I did it in a bunch of different directions so that none of the curls actually really form together, so that this will give way more volume throughout your entire hair, because 80s hair was very voluminous and big and frizzy. So basically just curl it in the tightest curls that you can, and then once they're cooled, you'll want to run your fingers through it to separate all the curls, and then you can tease some parts of your roots. I used a little bit of hairspray just to help it stick and give it some more texture, and you basically want your hair to be as big as possible. It's also important, if you want this to look realistic, to have a very deep side part and have the top of that hair really swoop over to the other side and have some curls maybe hanging down in the front. You can also go over your hair with a brush and kind of back comb it a little bit to make it bigger. And then accessories were a huge thing to have in your hair in the 80s, especially like big bows. So I had these big bow hair clips that I got from Ardeen a long time ago, and I just stuck it right on the side, and then I put on a really bright pink blazer with some shoulder pads in it and a chunky gold necklace. So that is it for today's 80s makeup and hair tutorial for Halloween. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you might be using this tutorial for Halloween, or if you're going to be going to any themed parties this year. I still have more Halloween videos coming your way, so make sure you're subscribed if you are new here. And I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!